So this is everything I was sent in the box for Katana. We've got the game itself, we've got a gameplay example, we've got some tokens and a little note. I'm getting the impression, straight off the bat, not everything fits inside this box, which is the reason we were sent these little tokens alongside. And this gameplay example, which actually when you look through it, is also, coincidentally, I believe the rules. Now this is going to be completely half blind, if not entirely blind, as an unboxing, because I can find very little about this game on the internet beyond the website. The trailer for it looks intense, really cool. It does really present itself excellently as a head-to-head short game. And the fact it's based on Japanese history, you know, katana, samurai, the shogun, makes it even more exciting. So, having a look at the back on the spiel, we've got, you are a samurai, an elite warrior in the heart of medieval Japan. Wield cards to attack and defend against your rivals. Purify yourself to summon the game-changing abilities of Kami. Master the ways of the warrior and rise as shogun. So the cards appear to have three elements to them. You've got a something, a defend, and a stance. So running on some logic, I'd say that this possibly sometimes is attack, if that's sometimes green. It is only for 2 players, and it is a very short game, but the entire theme about it makes me quite excited. I do not mind a bit of history, and history from other cultures is even more exciting. Being a teacher, I know our history quite well. I can tell you, when you've taught it for 5 years, it gets a bit dry. So, let's see if we can't get this open. And what do we have? 2 decks. 2 decks and a little board. And a gameplay guide. Okay, so this is the guide for gameplay. This is just a tasty little insert. Nice, it just keeps the cards separate. Common sense stuff. It's common sense stuff. So, during an era of fractured authority, samurai offer security, social order, and cultural leadership. Medieval Japanese warriors, organised into competing clan networks, vie for supremacy and glory. Undeniable is their martial prowess, yet true power resides in strategic thinking. The samurai, as I believe, were effectively like, to say a mafia would be wrong because they were incredibly noble, but they did run almost in little gangs, and it was a case of you needed to defeat opposing samurai representing different clans. And there was a shogun who ran the show. But that's enough of my Japanese knowledge of history, I'm afraid. So you've got action deck, a Kami deck, a health and armor cards, and a shrine deck. And you have got a very nice looking content and components table. Setup and gameplay overview. This rulebook looks incredibly refined. Attack and defense. All makes very much. All seems to make sense. I do like the visual representations at the bottom and examples, which of course will go quite nicely with this to show you how it happens in practice. That's quite cool. How everything works, how stances work, how Kami works, and how Kamikaze works, which is where you sacrifice your Kami. And purify and pollute, which I believe are coinciding with these tokens, which could not fit in the box. So I crack this open and just have a quick look at the quality of these. They're just little tokens. They feel nice. Very central. The printing is very central, which I do always appreciate. Not so much for these ones, but these are very... Oh, no, wait, sorry. Not so much for these ones, but again, they got a nice little bit of thickness to them. Very light. Very, very light. But they are tokens just to represent something. So, you know, they fit a purpose. They fit a purpose. Right, let's have a look at... Oh, hello. Ah, okay. Differing decks, differing backs. Let's have a look at one of these. So, we've been a big fan of 2-player games recently because of lockdown, it only being 2 of us at most. I've got a real appreciation for them, so this is one of those that I was very excited for. Identical backs apart from these ones. These cards feel really, really, really well made. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a grain to them. And they just feel incredibly sturdy, really, really, really rigid. Very nice. So I'm going to hazard a guess at these being the Kami. because Kamikaze. You've got Fudo Mew. My pronunciation is going to be atrocious. Apologies to any people who are fluent in Japanese. You may only hold 4 cards as a passive, but your active is +4 unreflectable attack. Mimic enemy kami passive ability. Immunity from attack for 1 turn but cannot stance. And Hachiman. I'll just go for these 3. Evade reflected attacks +3 attack next turn. So is that in response to? And all the kamikazes are different. So they may be, I'm going to have as a guess, really strong kamikaze may not be reflective of incredibly strong passive and active. And the way that health is set up appears to be different. Is that going to have much impact? Who knows? Oh, we've got ordered cards. These are need a good shuffle. So 2 attack, 1 defend, +1 on future attacks. 2 attack, 2 defend, shatter armor, pollute, defend, purify. So purify allows you to use your Kami ability. So hazard and a guess again. I like hazard and guesses at the minute. That pollute will be the opposite and will prevent your opposer from using their ability. Which is quite cool because it means you can't just keep on cashing in on a purify and then hitting them hard. Sometimes it can be a bit of a, you knock them back a bit. There's a hindrance occurring. Let's have a look at the backs again. Okay, we've got some new ones. The artwork on this is stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. I do like this a lot. Are they the same as this? Yes, they are. So I'll look at one more. Izanagi. Progenitor, he who beckons. Nice bit of lore there. That's quite cool. Is there lore on all of them? She who beckons. The Traveller. Abilities cannot be used when polluted, but Kami is indestructible, so you cannot break the Kami. How does that work with Kamikaze? I have no idea. These are your health and shield armor cards. More health than armor, or is there more armor than health? I'm going to see them counting. I think there's more armor than health there. That's quite cool. So there may be someone who's able to double up. And then you've got these cards, which are other cards. It'd make sense to have a sneaky peek at the gameplay guide. Shrine deck. This is just first impressions of the contents, of course, but for a 1v1 game, it appears to have a lot of option and strategic, well, a lot of strategic options available to players. It's not going to be just a case of lay the highest card and win. It almost looks like, because of these stances, you'd be able to position yourself in a stance, wait for them to do something, and then be able to get 1 defense, shatter their armor, or reflect their attack, just reading it off of these. Very interesting. The quality of the game in itself, just as a physical piece of gaming, is really good. Like, these cards feel incredibly well polished, and the actual artwork and presentation of everything is great as well. It doesn't need a lot of detail to it, the game, because it is just a 1v1, but the fact that you've got little bits of lore just on these cards, and you've got the artwork alongside fitting in really nicely with the theme, just makes it look really aesthetic. It makes it look not approachable necessarily, but it makes it look really, it's going to catch your eye on the table, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get out of my mouth. But that is my first impressions of Katana, the card game. I'm impressed and I'm quite excited to get this to the table. It doesn't look like it's going to be an overly long game, but it is one that I probably will hit once or twice. Thank you ever so much for sticking around for so long. I will catch you next time.